Judas Priest has just achieved their highest ever chart placement with their latest album, Invincible Shield, surpassing the success of iconic albums like British Steel, Screaming for Vengeance, and Firepower. Invincible Shield has soared to the number 2 spot on the UK charts, narrowly missing the top position held by Ariana Grande's Eternal Sunshine. This marks a significant milestone for the band, whose previous best chart performance was with British Steel back in 1980, reaching number 4. Their most recent album, Firepower, peaked at number 5 in 2018. Described as a blend of blistering rock and infectious melodies, Invincible Shield showcases Priest's enduring appeal and musical prowess. Lead singer Rob Halford revealed in a recent interview that the track Crown of Horns was inspired in part by the conflict in Ukraine, reflecting on themes of resilience and unity in the face of adversity. Halford hinted at the possibility of future projects, expressing the band's continuous creative energy and passion for music. As they embark on a tour across the UK, with plans for European and US dates, Judas Priest remains committed to their craft and their dedicated fan base. We thought this would be a good opportunity to look into our archives where we did find a story from way back, when Priest were about to release their Screaming for Vengeance LP. What is a little jarring here is that the article mentions Priest as the grandfathers of heavy metal. This in the early 80s. If they were considered the grandfathers of metal way back then, that makes them what today? The great-great-grandfathers of metal? It's almost hard to imagine how long ago this actually was. So, without further ado, let's head back to the early 80s and check in with Judas Priest. Judas Priest's New Metal by Philip Basche. Sometimes referred to as the grandfathers of heavy metal, Judas Priest are a study in perseverance. Formed amid the grimy industrial environment of Birmingham, England, the band's climb to the top has been a slow but deliberate one. The mid-70s weren't very kind to them, but ever since the pace-setting album British Steel 2 years ago, they've been recognized as purveyors of a modern brand of heavy metal. Music that's as strong melodically as it is on hellish imagery. 1982 should be the year Priest receive all the accolades due them, something the group is mindful of. Certainly it must have been vexing to watch novices like Def Leppard score with their very first album, while Priest were still slogging it out on the concert circuit trying to get their music heard, so you'll forgive them their moments of cockiness. When you play heavy metal though, brashness is a virtue, and their 9th LP, Screaming for Vengeance, benefits from it, sounding as if it were cast in the mold of steel. Last year they tried their hand at progressive metal on Point of Entry, an LP which guitarist Glenn Tipton feels was misunderstood by people. I thought it was the most original heavy metal album ever. It was an attempt at something different. We wanted to get away from the archaic heavy metal approach we'd been tagged with, says vocalist Rob Halford, who, with Tipton and the rest of the band, is in Florida to finish mixing the new record with producer Tom Allom. Soft-spoken and highly articulate, in civilian life, Halford and Tipton contrast sharply with their on-stage image. While Priest's music has taken a few turns throughout their 8-year recording history, the visual focus of the group hasn't changed a jot since the beginning. They've always gone in for biker gear, like leather jackets, studded wristbands, and Halford's personal signature, a black riding crop. On the past few tours, the singer's made his stage entrance perched on top of a motorcycle. It makes for a very effective show, especially when you consider the nature of the music. But is it an image that needs to be protected off stage, a cumbersome overcoat, to be worn 24 hours a day? Well, in actual fact, our image offstage isn't too dissimilar from our onstage image, contends Tipton. We don't dress drastically different. We don't live two different worlds. Halford, who as frontman best personifies the Priest image, agrees, but adds, there is the whole magic of show business too. That's a big attraction to this profession. Born to working-class parents, Halford would probably be an actor today had he not hooked up with the band a decade ago. While he's not acting up there, it is his job to create a fantasy for the audience. Whether or not they're able to differentiate between what's real and what's an illusion is a question that hasn't been fully answered. I think people are content to see the show and listen to the records, Halford contends. I don't think they're really keen on knowing what goes on afterward, because then some of the mystique is lost. The group's fans, as rabid a bunch as you'll find anywhere, thrive on that mystique, and in conjunction with Priest's authoritarian dress, Endow the group with a power that's unusual even for rock and roll, a medium which sports plenty of shaman-like figures. It's not a case of wielding authority, says Tipton, when asked if being able to hold that power over an audience like a whip is a sobering thought. You see, we feel so strong on stage that people just naturally follow. So it's more a power of suggestion? Exactly, says Halford. I don't think people want to be told what to do. Heavy metal's never been fashionable, but it's going to be around for a long time. Halford was correct. Those words were spoken over 42 years ago. And today, Judas Priest have their highest charting record? Incredible. Until next time, we thank you for watching Rock Buzz. Help us keep rock alive. Please hit like and subscribe.